So let's get into this story where the Texas store clerks attacked elderly black woman over $50 bill in a crash course on white privilege. Now, in the episode of White Privilege Gone Wild, white store clerks in Austin County, Texas were seen on camera attacking a 65-year-old black woman who had found a $50 bill on the floor and tried to walk out of the store with it. Now, I'll stop right there. She didn't just try to walk out of the store. She was actually in the store, in the convenience store, making a purchase of ice cream and honey buns for her special needs son who was actually in the car waiting for her. So she didn't just pick it up and walk out of the store. It was actually on the floor. She picked it up. It wasn't like it was in a bag or anything like that. She found it on the floor. And most people, if you find money on the floor, you're going to keep it unless it's in a bag. Whole bunch of money. It was just a bill. It was laying on the floor. She picked it up. So anyway, the clerks were all reportedly fired, but only one woman was arrested behind the incident, a black relative who came to the elderly woman's aid. She said, "I told the cashier, look here, my lucky day." The victim, Betty Smith, told Fox 26 Houston in reference to the money she found on January 15th at Lindemann grocery store in Town of Industry. The woman at the counter says, "Oh no, you can't leave with that. That might be my friend's money. He was in here earlier." Now see, I'm going to stop right here. First of all, that might be doesn't mean that it is. And the clerk didn't have any business doing that because she didn't know for sure whose money it was. And to tell her she couldn't leave with money that she found legitimately on the floor is really a problem. That's very problematic right there, right? And so, first of all, my question is this too. How would the clerk know who might have lost the money in the store? If she didn't see it on the camera, she didn't see him drop it, then why is she, making these type of statements like this? But that's things that, to me, people used to do back in these Jim Crow days. And that's what this actually seems like to me. And it's really sad because if she believed that money belonged to her friend, why didn't she pick it up and put it aside and contact him and say, "Hey, I saw on the camera that you dropped money"? Or if she saw him drop the money as he was leaving the store and called him back and said, "Hey, you dropped your money." So this is some really messed up stuff right here, what went on, and I'll finish reading it. And so it says, and even if the clerk's friend had lost the money, it's not like we're talking about a suitcase full of cash or someone's rent money in an envelope. We're talking about a single $50 spot left on the ground. That's definitely a finder's keeper situation. Either way, nothing gives a store employee the right to police a woman who got lucky and found the money on the floor. So my question is too, is this a case of finders keepers, losers weepers? Finders keepers. To me, in a store and the money is just on the floor like that, it depends on the person. Some people might go up there and say, "Hey, I found this on the floor." And then the clerks might say, "Well, keep it. You found it. It was probably a customer. We don't know who it is unless they come in here and ask for it." Or, "Hey, give us the money. Let us look at the camera and we'll see who it was." Or just, hey, the person that found it be like, "Hey, you know what? I found it. It's going in my pocket. I'm keeping it. I'm going to keep my mouth shut." And that's that. And then, but this elderly woman, she did not think that she would be attacked over saying, "Today is my lucky day. I found this on the floor." She didn't think that she would be attacked. So there's a lot of different situations where people can make a decision about what they want to do with money that they find. Now, if you're working on your job and you find money, you probably have a policy to turn it in. But being that you are a customer in a store and you find money on the floor, it's not in a money bag like someone dropped it because it was their business money that they were going to make a deposit somewhere, or they was coming in the store to get change, or it was in an envelope, and they had just cashed their check. None of that. It was just a $50 bill laying on the floor. And how many people have found money just laying on the floor and you pick it up and keep it moving? I mean, I found money on the floor and I picked it up and I kept it moving. It was just like a case where this woman was, but no one attacked me over it. But the thing is, I didn't go saying, "Hey, look at that. Look, I found this. I found that." I didn't do that. And I'm not saying anything, negative towards, Miss Betty. I'm just saying that who is the cashier or the clerk to have the audacity to try to police someone over money and to make an assumption that it might be the money of a friend that she knows? And so either way, nothing gives that store employee the right to police a woman who got lucky and found money on the floor. Now, Smith says she was the only customer in the store at the time, and she proceeded to check out. She tells Fox 26 the clerks would not let her purchase the desserts. Surveillance video shows Smith trying to leave the business as clerks stopped her at the door. They went to the door and locked me in. So says Smith, and that right there is, they're holding her against her will, and so they locked her in against her will, holding her hostage, and that wasn't right either, what they did, to not let her out of the store, that was just wrong. And so it says the video shows one female clerk ripping the money out of her hand as she tries to get it back. Another female employee and a male employee shove and restrain her. So they are actually, actually assaulting her. They restrain her, but they're shoving her. And she says, "I was scared to death," says Smith. She also says the woman used racial slurs while telling her she was not allowed to leave. Her son, who has special needs, was outside in the car during the altercation. Now, as much as the behavior of the store employees ticks me off, including the allegations of racial slurs, which I have no problem believing, because if you're willing to manhandle a black female senior citizen over $50 that doesn't even belong to you, you're probably racist. It's really the police that truly infuriates me. Now, this is crazy because look what the police did. They didn't even charge the employees, which they should have, and it still should be an ongoing investigation. And the family here should demand justice on what transpired with this whole situation. Even the police officers need to be reprimanded and maybe even terminated for how they handled this whole situation. And if you pull the cameras, the video, it'll show you what was going on, who was in the store, and maybe even see where she found the money on the floor, and that there was nobody else in the store, so finders keepers, right? And then the fact is that the aggressive female and the men, how they were holding her, restraining her against her will, holding her hostage against her will, false imprisonment, and sitting up there grabbing on her and shoving her, and she's 65 years of age. And then she had a special needs child in the car, her son. So this is a lot going on here, and this case definitely needs to be looked at even more, and an investigation needs to be opened up on the police officers. And these employees need to be, former employees now, they were terminated, need to be held accountable for their actions. So she says Smith then calls her granddaughter Destiny Sears on her cell phone to help. She was frantic, says Sears. I rushed out of the shower and put on a robe. They wouldn't let her out. She's a diabetic. I could see where her feet were bothering her. Her shoes were across from her. I said, y'all have to let her out. That's when the video shows an Austin County Sheriff deputy, who the family says was called by the store clerks, handcuffed Cyrus. Her mother shows up minutes later and was handcuffed and arrested for allegedly assaulting one of the employees during the altercation. So let's do a quick recap on this. So despite the fact that there is clear video surveillance that shows white store employees physically attacking an elderly black woman and preventing her from leaving the store, which sounds like kidnapping to me, especially if it's true that they locked her in. None of the clerks were arrested or even handcuffed, but the granddaughter who tried to help her grandmother was handcuffed, and her mother was handcuffed and arrested because she allegedly assaulted one of the clerks, who presumably was one of the employees involved in the recorded attack on Smith. Sounds to me like cops took the white aggressor's claim at face value and decided the black woman must have been the problem. In fact, according to the family, the cops took statements from the store employees but did not allow the three women to tell their side of the story. Sheriff Jack Brandes released the following statement to Fox 26, which, of course, characterizes one of the store employees as a victim. On January 15, 2023, at approximately 7:05 p.m., the Austin County Sheriff's Office responded to the Lindemann store in Industry, Texas, for a disturbance in progress. Deputies arrived and conducted an investigation into the cause of the disturbance. One subject was arrested at the scene who was not initially involved in the original disturbance, but who walked into the scene later and assaulted a victim. This secondary assault was captured on camera as well. Currently, the statements, videos, body-worn camera video, and all evidence collected has been forwarded to the Austin County District Attorney for consideration of potential charges against various individuals. Now, these police officers, they're making up stuff, because if they really did an investigation and looked at the camera that's in the store, they will see that there was some other stuff going on and that the clerks were the aggressor in this case. That's according to what is being said. So meanwhile, the manager at Lindemann grocery store appears to have done more to hold the employees accountable than the cops were willing to do. The manager told Fox 23 that all 3 employees involved were fired the day after the incident and that he and the store owner apologized to Smith, which Smith confirmed. They offered to help pay bond money and offered to give me the $50 bill and any support I needed, but I didn't want it, she said. Now, I think right here, I'm going to stop right here for a moment. She needs to ask for that video. That video needs to be released. She needs to get an attorney, and that video needs to be released before the police officers get it and try to manipulate it, before they try to get it and put it in their custody. It needs to be released so that they have evidence of what actually transpired. Now, I feel like when things quiet down, the same thing is going to happen to me again. Smith continued, adding that she has no plans to ever return to the store. Unfortunately for the store managers who tried to make things right, Smith's story has gone public and drawn the attention of protesters, including Houston activist Cornell X, and some are calling for the store to be boycotted. Fortunately, they are also calling for the arresting officers to be held accountable. So they're telling people not to shop at this store, and they want the officers to be held accountable. And let me tell you something. The store owner and the manager tried to help the woman. So boycotting the store when they really did try to help, and they said that they will help in any way that they can. So it doesn't really seem like it's the store owner and manager, because the employees did get terminated. Excuse me, they did get terminated. But to me, the officers are the ones that should be held accountable. The officers that responded, they should be held accountable. They should be investigated. And because they're the ones that, to me, wrote a false report. And they should be investigated and held accountable. But the store, if they're trying to help the owner and the manager is trying to help the victim, who the real victim is the elderly 65-year-old woman. That's who the real victim is. And her granddaughter showed up to try to help her. And then they're accusing her of, charged her. And then the mother showed up of the granddaughter, and she is accused of attacking because, at the end of the day, you have 3 generations here. You have the granddaughter, the mother, and the great, you have the, the granddaughter of, you have the granddaughter, you have the mother, and then you have the mother of the mother. So there's a grandmother involved, a mother, and a granddaughter. So there's 3 generations of women here. And they all need to make sure they have attorney representing them. That needs to happen, because this is just unsatisfactory. But this was in Austin, Texas, and I've understood that Austin, Texas, I actually rode through Austin, Texas with my family many, many years ago, driving across country. But I heard that Austin, Texas is a racist town. Now, I don't know how sure that is, but I've heard that from other people that have actually lived there or been there, that reside in Texas, have said that about Austin. So I'm just saying that's what I've heard. I don't know how true it is, because I've never lived there myself, but this is some crazy stuff that has happened. So anyway, leave your comments below. What do you think should happen? Should they hire an attorney, get legal counsel on this situation, and make sure that they bring charges against the police department for what has happened to this family? Over $50 that was free game, finders keepers on the floor, and to be assaulted like that, and for the clerk to lay claim to something that really didn't belong to her, and she was not able to confirm that that was her friend's money. And not only that, if it was and she saw it dropped on the floor, why didn't she go get it before somebody else picked it up and found it. So with that being said, this is a lot of stuff that continues to go on, and we just have to bring awareness to this and stand up and tell people what's going on so that things can stop. Okay, so with that being said, don't forget to leave your respectful comments below. Give a video a thumbs up, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel if you're not a subscriber. Thank you all for tuning in. God bless you.